And good evening. Welcome to Politics Tonight.
Thanks, Paul. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're with me. So a lot of people think with the knocking down of DOMA, all will be well with the federal government and Social Security benefits. Not that easy, is it?
Well, certainly we're not hearing very much so far. We've heard from the Office of Personnel Management regarding federal civil service retirement and health benefits, and even the Department of Defense has come out and talked about, how the uniformed services will be treated. But the Social Security Administration has yet to basically say what their plans are. I mean, our hope is that because the Supreme Court's decision in the DOMA case was sufficiently broad that the President and the executive branch have the authority under the decision to broadly implement it, so that same-sex couples, regardless of where they live, as long as they have they have been married in a state that recognizes either same-sex marriage or civil unions, would be entitled to exactly the same Social Security benefits that heterosexual couples are entitled to.
And indeed, that makes sense. But of course, what the problem that sort of arises here is what I said before you joined me, which was if a couple gets married in the same-sex acknowledged state, Massachusetts, moves to Utah, Utah wants to say, sorry, you don't get the benefits here. And it creates all sorts of problems between saying, well, now you can, for example, in a state that has same-sex marriage, you can file jointly as a couple, but you couldn't do it on the federal level. Now that's going to change. And now in other states, it's going to go the other way around. File jointly as a couple for federal benefits or federal taxes, but not on the state level. This kind of confusion is something that clearly has to get resolved by the court.
Well, we're hoping it doesn't come to that. It may be right. Litigation may be required, but as again, based on the existing decision, we believe, and I think that there's a consensus out there amongst groups that supported the Supreme Court's decision, that even in a state that doesn't recognize same-sex marriage, that a federal benefit that's been enacted by federal law, that those individuals, as long as they are legally married, would be entitled to the same benefit, because it's not as though the state of Utah has any authority over the Social Security program. It's the federal government, it's the Congress that makes those decisions. Let
me also ask you, too, I mean, let's be specific about some of the benefits. Disability benefits, survivor benefits. I mean, these are specifically some of the things, and now your organization has done a wonderful, extensive report on this. Those are the kind of real specific occurrences that we need to be concerned about, right? One state, a spouse getting death benefits from Social Security, another state not. I mean, that's the kind of practical inconsistencies we're talking about.
That's right. I mean, it's if your spouse predeceases you, you are entitled to. If you, let's say, for instance, if the deceased spouse's Social Security benefits were $2,000, and you receive the surviving spouse's Social Security benefit is $1,000, then what happens is that what happens then is, hold on a second, there's an echo on the line. Oh. Getting the live feed now.
It's probably just the NSA listening. Don't worry about it.
That's right. You get the benefit of the higher benefit. So in that situation, you would get $2,000. But if you are before the DOMA decision, what happened is that you would get nothing. You would only get your own Social Security benefit, and that's hugely discriminatory for same-sex couples, and we think is unfair. But even going beyond that, when we talk about children's benefits, same-sex couples before the decision really had to jump through hoops in terms of these second-parent adoptions in order to be eligible for survivor benefits or disability benefits based on one of their parents, and it could be especially bad if one of the parents is the primary breadwinner in the household.
And, of course, the children's issue is a very fascinating one, too, because there's so many different ways that same-sex couples can have kids. I mean, there's in some ways the old-fashioned way, if you will, but, there's adoptions and there's foster parenting and there's one spouse has a donor involved and the other, other person is a parent. I mean, there has to be a lot of legal steps taken in to protect the rights of those parents as it relates to those kids, depending on how those kids are brought into the family or established in the family, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, again, before the decision, that was certainly true, and we hope as the decision is broadly interpreted and fully implemented, that same-sex couples won't have to jump through those same hoops again. That they will be treated exactly the same as heterosexual couples.
By the way, this is also true for military benefits, right? Now, don't ask, don't tell. Go on. The same-sex benefits come into play for those serving in the military.
Yeah, it certainly would. And you know, when you look at the Supreme Court's decision, it said basically that there are over 1,000 programs that the government operates that are going to have to be examined by the Justice Department, by the agencies that have jurisdiction over these programs. And so, yes, whether it's military retirement or pay or survivor benefits, the same with the people who work for the federal government. There's a whole host of things, and also, based on your ability to file jointly with your spouse.
That's right.
In fact, that's one of the side benefits of this decision is that if spouses are able to jointly file taxes, then they're going to be paying more taxes, which in itself helps to lower the federal deficit.
Yeah, a lot of very interesting questions that will be resolved in the years to come. We'll stay in touch with you on those. Thanks for being with me. Dan Adcock,
Sure.
Director of Government Relations and Policy for the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare.